Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Working Families Caucus press conference for the day after Crossover Day. My name is Fludd. I'm a state representative in the South Metro area. My district includes parts of Fayette and parts of Fulton County. I am a 10-year legislator and a 20-year business owner. For the last 20 years, I've run a consulting firm that's been successful in helping companies to identify talent in their respective organizations. In addition to that, I'm one of the co-chairs of the Working Families Caucus. The Working Families Caucus is a bipartisan legislative group open to all members of the Georgia General Assembly. The purpose of this caucus is to develop and promote legislation that invest in workers, invest in families, and invest in communities to help Georgians achieve the American dream of security, opportunity, prosperity, and equality. Today, we want to talk about a couple of issues, specifically those things that matter most to working families in Georgia. You know, the number one priority for Georgia citizens is job creation. So that should be the number one priority for the Georgia General Assembly. Instead, we've reviewed the wreckage that occurred on Crossover Day last night, and we see a massive legislation that hurts working families and shreds the safety net. We see bills that undermine the core values of the American dream of rewarding work and playing by the rules. Let me give you just a couple of examples. Number one, SB 447 cuts unemployment benefits to Georgians who lost their jobs through no fault of their own. Instead of placing the responsibility on the employers who are responsible for depleting the fund of $3 billion over 12 years. Number two, the refusal to debate good legislation that would help Georgia and by buying products that are made in America. Products that would help Georgia citizens regain their prosperity. Bills that would keep jobs here in Georgia rather than shifting money overseas. And number three, SB 469, passed the Senate. It would unfairly and illegally undermine efforts by groups committed to helping working families by organizing to protest abuses by businesses in these very difficult times. So let's talk about the Buy American bill. With so many people still out of work through no fault of their own, it's a common sense piece of legislation that Georgia's tax dollars should be used on creating jobs right here at home, not on companies that export jobs overseas. Buy American policies have been in place and supported at the federal level by presidents from Ronald Reagan to President Obama. And they have proven to be exceptionally effective in state after state. Passing this bill would have created jobs in Georgia without costing taxpayers a single dime. Every manufacturing job in this country has a multiplier effect. And in fact, the studies have shown that for every manufacturing job, there's at least a third of another job created. There's a multiplier effect. That's why it's so important to keep American dollars right here in the United States. My legislation would simply provide an incentive for state purchasing agencies to buy products that are either made in Georgia or made in the United States. We need those manufacturing jobs right here in America, right here in Georgia. By the way, preferences for Buy American has proven to be supported by over 90% of all Americans, 94% of people who tend to vote Democrat, 89% of people who tend to vote Republican, and 88% of people who tend to vote Republican. It's independence, I'm sorry. It's common sense legislation that makes good sense for Georgia and for the United States. The legislation is simple, it's direct, it creates jobs without sacrificing quality, without sacrificing costs. It's good, common sense legislation that's good for Georgia and good for the United States.